Hi everyone, I'm Janet Kadow, and I want to teach everything I know about spirit guides. So here I am doing it, and I hope that this series is informative and helpful, and you're welcome to leave any questions or comments or your experiences with spirit guides in the comments. You can also direct message me or email me. All my information is in the description of the video. Okay, so when we talk about spirit guides, we're talking about divine beings. Whether you think of them as angelic or ascended masters or ancestors, they are divine beings. They represent an individual expression of divine love that is there for you from the moment that you're born until the day that you die. Now, we have little to no knowledge about them as far as a regular everyday life, but we are also have access to them. And once you learn how to access that energy of divinity and all the gifts that brings in your life, then your life just goes smoother and more incorporating joy. So there's a lot of different theories about who your spirit guides are and how many we have and all that kind of stuff. But what I do is I focus on one guide. So we're going to focus on your one and only guide, your primary guide, that guide that has been with you from birth to death. There are theories that, guides interchange throughout our lifetimes, which that's true too. But we also have either at least a singular, maybe a handful of guides that take us through our whole life. Okay, so we're going to focus on one guide. When we think about when you think about your spirit guide, I want you just to focus on one guide. And so whenever we ask something of your one guide, you're going to say my guide and only my guide. And that is to keep off any other energies, any other beings, any other low-level entities that might want to mess with your head. There's a lot of those in the world, and if you have no discipline or intention around your connection with spirit, then you're going to run into them. So I always suggest that you work with your guides and only your guides and no other being or entity, especially when you're first starting out in your connection. Because there are a lot of entities that will pretend to be your guides if you do not have the discipline or awareness to ask for your guide and only your guide. You're also going to ask that you receive what is in your highest good to help you on your path to your highest potential. Now, when we think about the highest good, it's more about what brings you joy in the world, what is the truest expression of your soul. It is not, eat your vegetables and don't say bad words. It is about expressing yourself in your truest form, your most authentic form, and that always brings joy. So when we're asking things that will help our highest good and help us on our path to our potential, we're asking that our truest self be supported in our path of life, in our lifetime. And this will not just raise your frequency and your vibration, but it will also help you manifest so much easier. And when you're working with spirit guides, they have the same intention. So they have no agenda. They don't care if you're a good person or a bad person, or if you've done good things or bad things. They don't care about any of that. They only care that you are happy and that you're fulfilled and that you are doing what you want to do. And you are being authentic to yourself in this world, in this lifetime. So when we ask our guides to help us, we're always asking with those two intentions. One, that it's only your guide that helps you, only your spirit guide. And two, that it is supporting your highest good. Okay, that keeps away all the baddies. That keeps away all the bad information, the bad energy, and it protects you from low-level entities coming in and messing with your head. The thing is, when you are open and energetically, or you're a little bit psychic, or you're a little bit tuned in, you're a little bit intuitive, ghosts and spirits will take advantage of that to mess with you if you don't have any kind of discipline or protection. And the only discipline that I'm asking that you take, or that you have, is the discipline of only asking for your guide and only your guide, and that they're there to serve your highest good. That's it. Because those low-level entities want to feed the ego. So I hear a lot of people, say things about how their guides are giving them commands and telling them that they're like the second coming, or they are here to heal the world, or things like that. Those are not your spirit guides. Those are low-level entities that are feeding the ego. Okay, so we want to be in harmony with our spirit guides and not be susceptible to entities that are feeding the ego, gassing us up, and then running us around. So our spirit guides are always, always, always going to be supportive and loving unconditionally, but they also have no agenda. So there's no reason for your spirit guides to need anything from you. There's no reason for them to ask anything of you. They're not going to ask you to do something for them, or for for humanity or for the earth. That's not what spirit guides do. They're there for you and you alone. So you may have the idea that you want to be of service in the world, which is a lovely, wonderful thing, but be of service to humanity and not to spirit, because spirit doesn't need anything from you. So you can ask your guides how you can be of service to humanity, and it's probably you may or may not get an answer, because your guides are more interested in your happiness, your joy, your healing, your perspective, what you want in this world. And if being of service to humanity is going to be another stress or burden on you, they're not going to help you with that. They're only going to help you with what will bring you joy. Okay? So keep that in mind. They really want to help you. They want you to know that they are there for you. So my spirit guide is a great teacher, and I have learned extraordinary things from him, and I am always eager to pass on those things, but he does not require that I teach. He doesn't require that I share it with anybody. That's my desire. And so he helps me do that, and but it's not his desire. Do you see? So my desire is to teach and to share what I know. I'm very enthusiastic about it. I absolutely love teaching and sharing everything I find out, everything I know, everything I learn. And it's my art form, let's say, my creation. So that's what I love to do. And he supports it because I love it. So he wouldn't support it if I didn't love it, if I felt it was a burden or a difficult task to have. So know that spirit guides will never force you to do anything that you don't want to do, or that won't bring you joy. And if you do something your spirit guide told you to do, or you felt like your spirit guide told you to do it, and it didn't bring joy, then that wasn't your spirit guide. And there's no shame in it. You really want to learn how to work with this energy. So being wrong every now and then is an important part of that. Getting information that may be off, and then you can evaluate if it was wrong. What was the question, or what was the intention behind it? Why did I ask that? Or how did I interpret the answer? Maybe I interpreted it wrong. So there's all those kinds of things to evaluate when you're wrong, and it's a really important process as you start working with your spirit guides. But today, we're going to do a really easy practice to work with your spirit guide. And the really easy practice is that we're just going to ask your guide for a favor. And you don't have to visualize your guide. You don't have to know who your guide is, or if they're male or female or anything about them. They don't care. Like, they don't have an ego, so their identity isn't important to them. They have an energy signature, sort of like a hue or a vibration or something like that, that makes them individual. But, their name or their identity isn't that big of a deal to them. It's a big deal to you because you want to be able to identify them. So we're going to ask them for a favor, but first we're going to name them. Now you can name them whatever you want. You can name them Steve or Kevin or, Theodore. You can name them, any kind of feminine name, Jennifer or Caroline or whatever does it for you. Like, think of a name that you like, and you're going to tell your guide, I'm going to call you Caroline. And your guide is great with that. So your guide will always be cool with whatever you do. So when you say, I'm going to call you Caroline, they're going to be great with that. So you're going to say, okay, my guide and only my guide that's I'm going to be working with is going to be called Caroline. And so then you're going to say, Caroline, so when you ask a favor of Caroline, you don't need to get you don't need to channel them, you don't need to get any kind of image or message or thought from them. Instead, what you're going to get is just a request. And you may or may not feel anything after you make the request. You may or may not get the nudge that it was accepted or whatever. It's totally fine, doesn't matter. What matters is the request. And so every day I want you to wake up and I want you to ask your guide and only your guide to make your day easy. That's it. So you're just going to ask your guide and only your guide, make my day easy. And then you're going to thank your guide, even though your guide hasn't delivered yet. So when you wake up in the morning, you say something like this: I ask my guide and only my guide, the one who I call Caroline, to make my day easy. And I thank my guide and only my guide, the one I call Caroline, for making my day easy. And go on with your day. You don't need to think any more about it. You don't need to do anything. Just allow it to happen. Allow your day to flow. Allow your day to be easy. And then when you go to bed at night, you're going to ask your guide, tell your guide actually, you're going to tell your guide and only your guide, thank you for making my day easy. And that is a process that you should do it for at least 7 days. Try to remember it. You can put a little alarm on your phone or whatever. Thank your guide, or, ask your guide and in the morning and thank your guide in the evening. You can do that to help you remember, because at first it's a little hard to remember that kind of thing. And once you do that for at least a week, I want you to reflect on how it changed your week or made your life easier. Now then, if it didn't make your life easier, that's okay too. We're still thanking them. It doesn't matter. So gratitude also opens the way. So Spirit cannot help us if we do not ask. That's why we ask. And gratitude opens our energy field to receive. So that's why it's always good to be grateful before you even get it, because you are opening your energy field to receive, and that's very important. So remember, do this for 7 days. and reflect on how it shifted you, how it changed your life. If it didn't change your life, that's okay too. So, because you're opening the way, what we do when we ask for a gift from Spirit, or ask any kind of favor, even if it's like get me to work on time, or keep me safe, or, pay my bills. So anytime we ask Spirit for something, we are creating a foundation of communication, and that communication will grow over time. The more we ask, the more the trust builds and the communication grows, because your mental field, your mind, your ego is going to reject everything about this. In the next 7 days, you may feel a lot of resistance to doing this. In the next 7 days, you may have dialogue that carries on about how much nonsense it is, how ridiculous it is, what a dumb thing. I'm going to ask you to do it anyway. You're going to override those thought processes, override the doubt, override the terrible things that we say to ourselves when we try to make a change. You're going to just say, okay, that might be true. It might be nonsense. That's fine. And if it is nonsense, that's okay. But I'm still going to try it. That's the way to address your resistance. Because if you just address your resistance by listening and by agreeing, there's no more resistance, because there's nothing to argue with. Your ego can't argue when you say, oh yeah, you might be right. So your ego will be quiet. And all those fears and doubts and condemnation and self-judgment, all that stuff is your ego trying to keep you in place and not listen to Spirit. So it is a little bit of a process, and even though it's a baby step right now, it's a little tiny step into working with your guides, it makes a huge impact. It makes a big change. And that's what, when I got into working with my spirit guide, that's what I wanted. I wanted change. I wanted to feel happiness. I wanted to feel joy. I wanted to connect into that energy that is so powerful and that is miraculous. That unconditional love, the power of that connection is life-changing. And it starts with the ask. It starts with a question. It starts with a request. Help me. Help me do this. Help me do that. And the more you ask for help, not only the more help you will receive, but the better your communication will be. And Spirit does not judge, meaning they will help you with anything at all. They will help you with the minutia of grocery shopping, or getting someplace on time. The small things, waking you up on time. The small things of life they'll help you with, because they want your life to be easy. And when your life is easy, then you can really grow. When the chaos and stress and the worry and the fear all go away, then you're working on a whole new level of consciousness that makes your life joyful. And they have no agenda. Again, I'm going to say, there are a lot of people who believe that, if you're spiritual, then you're, meditating hours a day and praying and, doing all the things. But they just want you to be the most authentic expression of yourself. And if that's, doing other things, obviously, if that's cleaning houses, or building buildings, or driving an Uber, all those things are perfect for you. And if that's perfect for you, then they are going to help you. They're not going to help you with anything that will cause detriment to your life. You're on your own there. In other words, they're not going to help you harm another person or do anything that is going to cause you misery or anyone else misery. So keep that in mind. But sometimes, what we think is bad is not so bad to them. It may be something we have to go through in order to release whatever it was that was holding us back from our potential. Anyway, I hope this helps, and please subscribe, share with anybody who may enjoy or get some insight from it. So take care, everybody, and I do lives every Saturday at noon Pacific time and 3 p.m. Eastern time, and on YouTube. And anyway, have a great week. I'll be back and share more information and insights with spirit guides. Take care.